Now, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is calling for a collective and decisive effort in dealing with the growing instability in West Africa before it devastates the entire region. Sub-regional group ECOWAS is today hosting African heads of state and governments who have today converged in Accra to find a solution to the increasing cases of military takeovers in member countries. After the latest coup in Burkina Faso, yet another failed attempt was made days ago in Guinea-Bissau. Addressing leaders at the summit today, President Akufo-Addo called for a collective measure to curb the growing wave of instability.
The resurgence of the canker in our region. Let us address this dangerous trend collectively and decisively before it devastates the whole region. Excellencies, the resurgence of coup d'etats in our region is a matter of grave concern. This evolution challenges the democratic way of life we have chosen. We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region. You'll recall that during our virtual summit held on the 28th of January 2022, we suspended Burkina Faso from participating in ECOWAS institutions and requested the immediate release of President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, who was detained alongside other political actors. During our summit, we reaffirmed our commitment to upholding the principle of zero tolerance for ascending to power through unconstitutional means, and therefore demanded an immediate restoration of constitutional order by the military. To assess more accurately the security and political situations in Burkina Faso, we agreed to dispatch two missions, respectively, the Committee of ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff, led by the Ghanaian Chief of Defense Staff, on Saturday, 30th January 2022, and a joint ministerial delegation led by the chairperson of the Council of Ministers, the Ghanaian Foreign Minister, including the President of the Commission and the UN Secretary General's representative for the Sahel and West Africa, on Monday, 31st January 2022. Their reports have been submitted for our consideration. Excellencies, I commend our continental body, the African Union, on its firm decision to suspend Burkina Faso from participating in AU organs and institutions, in alignment with the decisions of the ECOWAS Authority on the situations in Mali and Burkina Faso. The African Union expressed strong support to the efforts of ECOWAS in addressing peace and security challenges facing the region, including the resurgence of military coups. This is the solidarity and international coalition that are needed to halt the political turbulence in our region and the continent at large.
Well, this extraordinary summit by ECOWAS is beginning to draw a lot of reactions. Joining me now for a conversation on this is Kofi Henako. Kofi Henako is the Secretary, International Relations Department for the Socialist Movement of Ghana. Also joining me is Adama Gaye. He happens to be a journalist, author, and former ECOWAS Director of Communication. I'm grateful that, gentlemen, you're joining us via Zoom now. Let me start off with you, Adama Gaye, if you're on. We've seen a number of summits by ECOWAS in relation to similar coup d'etats and military takeovers. How unique is this conference or summit happening in Accra today, and what do you believe the resultant effect will be?
There is nothing unique in this summit. It ends up looking like business as usual. They are coming up with the same kind of recipes, and they are not truly seeming to grasping the issues at stake. It's not just about democracy, it's about governance. Bad governance, incapacity to govern, incapacity to deliver goods in the countries. Everybody knew and could see that the ousted president of Burkina Faso, Roch-Marc Kaboré, was going to be toppled. The country was facing a lot of hardships. Many people were killed. 2,000 people have been killed since he came to power in 2015. 1.5 million people in Burkina Faso are displaced, and yet you cannot continue talking about upholding what has become an illegitimate civilian leadership and rejecting the capacity of the military to come and fix the disturbances, the instabilities affecting this country. So, unfortunately, hearing President Akufo-Addo, who is a seasoned diplomat, lawyer, and who know about the region and the continent, repeating these kind of utterances is very disheartening, because at the end of the day, what we expect from him is to say we have at hand a serious challenge of leadership, governance, democracy, security. Is a holistic approach that is needed here, not just calling for a return to what is not a constitutional order, but is a disrupted constitutional order from the inability by the civilian to run the country. So there are two illegitimacies here. One is from the civilian and the second one from the military. We need to have a grasp in this whole picture if we want to address them seriously, and not just come with these ready-made solutions that have been applied in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Guinea. They have not worked, and they will not work if they continue following blindly the route. By the way, you observe something. They are not calling in a martial way for sanctions to be imposed on Burkina Faso, because they are realizing that they are losing ground, they are losing the followership of the populace of West Africa, and they are becoming more and more irrelevant in addressing the challenges, not just of West Africa, but also helping the rest of the continent, Africa, that is meeting this Sunday in Addis Ababa for a summit at the African Union to understand the extent of the challenges facing West Africa that may spill over to the rest of the continent. This is not new. You have to remember that in the 1970s, West Africa was a playground for the military to stage coup. They are back to it because the civilians have failed. So we have to check why they have failed, why they have not been competent, why they have been corrupt, why they have been under the authority of foreign powers like France and others. So these problems, if they are not addressed, I think, unfortunately, ECOWAS will continue losing relevance in its role as a custodian of peace, stability, economic integration, and political stability and democracy, yes, for West Africa.
Just hold on for us briefly, gentlemen. We need to get some updates from the summit grounds here in Accra to find out what the latest is, so we can expand this conversation further, because the socialist movement of Ghana is also raising concerns about the approach that ECOWAS is adopting in all of this. My colleague Elton John Brobe is joining us live from the hotel where all of this is happening. Elton, first of all, give us an update of what the decision or the possible conclusion of matters are where you are.
Right, so we're going to wait a little longer before we get to understand how decisive ECOWAS wants to be in the attempt to address what President Akufo described as a worsening security situation, especially in West Africa. The meeting itself ended about 40 minutes ago. As I speak to you, all the heads of states have left. President Akufo has left. Now, what is left is the president of the ECOWAS Commission to now address the media. And his address will capture the communique, the outcome of today's meeting. That's what we're waiting for. The meeting has ended. That's what we are told.
While we wait for that, what indications are we getting? And looking at the posture of some of the leaders who are attending this summit, what do you glean from the interactions that we're seeing at the summit?
Right, so we've been on this road before, and I don't expect anything different from what we have been started with in the last few months. Apart from Burkina Faso, they also discussed Mali and Guinea. Goodluck Jonathan, who is the ECOWAS Special Envoy to Mali and Guinea, briefed them on the political situation in the two countries. Also, Ghana's Foreign Minister, Celia Yokoboche, also led a team to Burkina Faso over the weekend to study and report to ECOWAS. Their report was also one of the bases upon which the heads of state deliberated. What we are picking is that they don't accept the position of the Malian interim military order that they will need at least 5.5 years before they can return the country to constitutional rule. Remember that ECOWAS, at its last meeting before the end of the year 2021, directed the military regime led by Assimi Goïta to return Mali to constitutional rule by November of 2021. And they flouted that. In fact, they told ECOWAS that they were not going to meet it, and for that reason, they communicated to ECOWAS that they will need at least 6 years to return the country to constitutional, because a lot has to be done before that can be done. ECOWAS, in its response to Mali, froze the accounts of some key personalities, including the military leader, imposed restrictions on them, directed member states that shares border with Mali to close their borders and all that. Guinea, on the other hand, was also visited with similar, sanctions. Now, it is unclear the details of the committee's report from Mali and Guinea that the leaders took decision on. Like I said, we're waiting for the final communique on that. But on Burkina Faso, because this is fresh and they've already been suspended, and there was a directive last week at that virtual meeting for them to return the country to constitutional rule and also ensure the safety and well-being of the deposed president and some cabinet ministers that were arrested. We don't know what else ECOWAS wants to do. But judging from what President Akufo-Addo said in his opening remarks, they are also looking at tightening security within the border. As you may be aware, Ghana, Burkina Faso, Mali, last year came together to fight terrorism that were being led by Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS. Together, they contributed almost 1,500 troops. And before Christmas, they had arrested about 300 of these, elements, and then seized improvised bombs, weapons, and many other things. Now, the danger is that because Burkina Faso no longer has a functioning elected president and the administration of that country is not in a good stead, ECOWAS fears that it is giving these Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Al-Shabaab the free hand to operate within the sub-region. Ghana shares border with Burkina Faso already. We have been told that almost 2,000 people within last week, they fled to Ghana seeking asylum. And we are already dealing with over 100,000 of such individuals under the Ghana Refugee Board in the last few months. So the situation even appears to be impacting heavily on Ghana's economy and how we are able to deal with our own security. And these are matters that they want to deal with. We're waiting for the community to fully spell it out.
Well, Elton, another highlight of today's event was the arrival of President Umaru from Guinea-Bissau. That's one of the spots where there was a failed attempt just after the incident in Burkina Faso. What was his reaction to the engagements that were going around during the meeting?
Indeed, before the failed attempt to overthrow his government, ECOWAS was going to announce him as the mediator for Burkina Faso. And then he had to deal with his own security matters in his country. He was here, fully participated in the meeting. The main meeting itself, apart from the opening ceremony, the media did not have access to. So I'm unable to tell much about it. But my information is that ECOWAS is studying the security situation in his country. There are talks of deploying some ECOWAS standby force, because apart from the general agitation about poor economic conditions of some citizens within the West African Republic that is fueling some of this agitation, Guinea-Bissau has been identified as a major route for the transportation or the transportation of narcotics, especially cocaine. And they have even earned the nickname the Narcos of West Africa. And the information is that the president of Guinea-Bissau, in his attempt to deal with this narcotics issues, may have caused the displeasure of people who are directly involved. So apart from the political issues, about the general economic issues, because Guinea-Bissau is one of the poorest countries in the world, there's also the issue about narcotics, which has found a safe haven in Burkina Faso, in which it's trying to deal with. And ECOWAS, I'm told, is looking at having a standby force to help the Guinea-Bissau army to flush out these individuals.
Elton Brobe is our presidential correspondent. He's also been monitoring events at the extraordinary ECOWAS meeting happening here in Accra.